Welcome to What's New Today at OFA. This podcast comes to you from the participants of the Film and Media program at Options for All San Diego. The Film and Media program introduces participants with physical and developmental disabilities to all of the various aspects of filmmaking. What's New Today at OFA is a variety show podcast featuring exciting segments produced by Options for All students. And now, What's New Today at OFA?
Coming to you from Options for All Studios in America's finest city. It's time to play Music Mania. And now put your hands together for your host, Andy.
Hi everyone, I'm your host Andy and welcome to Music Mania. Today our contestants are Rob and Julian. We have 3 rounds with 3 questions each. Points increase with every round, with the final round worth 100 points. The contestant with the most points at the end of the show wins. Matthew, tell us what our contestants are playing for.
Today's grand prize is a life supply of foot cream.
Thanks to our sponsor, St. Alex Foot Cream. When your foot touches the cream, it feels like a dream. Let's get started. Our first round's theme is pop. Each question is worth 10 points. Question 1. Who was the first American Idol winner?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't watch American Idol, I'm sorry.
The correct answer was Kelly Clarkson. Question 2. What was the first music video to ever air on MTV? Rob.
Video killed the radio stars.
That is correct! Question 3. The song Picture was originally sung by which 2 artists?
I have no idea.
Me neither.
The correct answer was Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock. That's it for round 1. Let's check in with Matthew to see who's in the lead.
With a total of 10 points, Rob is in the lead with today's round.
Great. Now on to round 2. The theme for this round is rock. Each question is now worth 20 points. Question 1. What is the name of Dave Grohl's first band? Julian.
Nirvana.
That is incorrect. Rob, you have a chance to steal the point.
I'll pass. I don't know.
The correct answer was Scream. Question 2. Who is known as the king of rock and roll? Julian.
Elvis Presley.
That is correct. Question 3. What was the name of the airplane Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens last flew in?
Oh man, I knew that they had the crash. I don't know the name of the plane.
I just know they crashed in the plane. I don't know the name.
The correct answer was American Pie.
Oh.
That's it for round 2. Let's check back in with Matthew to see who's in the lead now.
With a total of 20 points, Julian is in the lead. Back to you, Andy.
Ouch! Looks like Rob needs to catch up quick. On to round 3. The round's theme is rap. Question 1. Which rap artist has a son of the USC football team? The correct answer was Snoop Dogg. Question 2. With a record of pronouncing 10.87 syllables per second, who's the world's fastest rapper? Julian.
Busta Rhymes.
Incorrect. Rob, do you have an answer?
I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
The correct answer was Twista. Question 3. Opened in 2021, what is the name of M&M's restaurant in Detroit? The correct answer was Mom's Spaghetti. That's it for round 3. Let's check in back with Matthew to see who's in the lead now.
With a total of 20 points, Julian is still in the lead.
Hooray!
Yay.
Wow, we have a close game here. It's all up to the final round. The final round is one question only and is worth 100 points. Good luck to you both. How old was Stevie Wonder when he signed with Motown? Rob.
Was he 12?
Incorrect. Julian, do you have an answer?
I would say like 14 or 15. Probably.
Incorrect. The correct answer was 11 years old.
Oh, I was so close.
So close, Rob. Let's check in with Matthew one more time for the final tally.
With a total of 20 points, Julian is the winner and he wins the last prize of two.
Yay.
Congratulations, Julian! You've won a lifetime supply of St. Alex foot cream. I'm sure your feet will be silky and smooth till the end of days.
Okay.
I'd like to thank both of our contestants for playing, and to everyone at home, thanks for listening to Music Mania.
Hi, this is Samantha Cazares, and this is my top 5 favorite movies. So the first one, Joker. I love it because darkness is my type. With the acting, the editing, and the script writing. Acting is terrific. The editing is emotional, and as a script is usually good made. Well, for Friendships is the stunts are awesome. The animation is cool, colorful. The special effects, I love the special effects too. And for Cruella, I love what they've done in the movie with the driving, the location, and for like the safety equipment. For Sixth Sense, it tells you that you have to face your fears for death. And for La La Land, it does with the good chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, and also with her good performance. And I also love the music.
Major funding for Death to Pop Culture was provided by the National Science Foundation, America's investment in the future, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Options for All Film and Media Studio, San Diego.
Hey, Jake, are we going to go see the Star Wars 45 screening?
Actually, it's trash day at Blaze's house tomorrow. Vesna and I are going to make sure that number 815328 doesn't come to the house.
Oh, please. COVID is going to morph into the common cold.
No, I'm actually very fascinated in San Diego Environmental Services Department.
Hey, Blasio, how long has your aunt, who owns the dog, worked for the San Diego trash truck?
Since 2004.
Oh, wow. She must really like it there.
Pop culture's dead. Let's go, Blasio. I'm going to spread the word to end all turbochargers.
MC and Blasio are blocked by a beagle whom is named Mia Wallace.
Please get truck 328 resigned to recycling. Woof!
We're on it, Mia Wallace.
A few weeks later, Carford at the Chesterfield Drive bus stop.
Due to massive numbers, our staff be too sad about the death of pop culture. The Breeze Route 101 has been temporarily suspended until further notice.
I mean, Like, did, had to do it. This is Blazio. We're talking about it.
Ross's head is about to explode. Alexandra runs away and Ross chases her.
Okay, hello. My name's Andy, and these are my top 5 favorite movies in no particular order. First movie we have is Encanto. This is pretty recent Disney movie, and what I love about it, I don't know if I can go into much detail, but what I love about it is the story, I guess, and how it's kind of like more of an emotional, personal story than your typical like let's go on an adventure, whatever. And it's just really like engaging, and the emotions are like great. I don't know how to explain it. You should just go watch it. I don't want to say anything else about it. Next one is Ernest and Celestine. This is not a very well-known film. It's a film from France, an animated film, and I really love the look of it. It's like sort of this watercolor sort of look with these hand-drawn characters in it, and I think it just looks beautiful, and it's just such a touching story between like a friendship between a bear and a mouse, and it's like, yeah, it's great. And then next movie is Paddington 2. This is actually the one we're gonna see next week. I don't want to spoil much about it, but it's just very sweet and charming. It's very I don't know. It's just it's just a very charming movie. It just makes me feel good because of like the characters, and then the certain like I don't know. I'm like losing my words right now. But yeah, I probably shouldn't really say anything anyways about it. And then next movie we have is Wolfwalkers. I'm pretty sure we watched this before. It's really beautifully animated, hand-drawn movie. It's really great. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like the writing is really good, and it's very engaging story, and they do it so well. I'm not really good at explaining these things since I'm such a limited amount of time, so I can't do them justice. Anyways, on to the last movie, Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. I mean, like, I don't know what else there is to say that a lot of people haven't said, but I'm gonna say anyways. This film is like so revolutionary in for animation, especially since it's so modern. Just like it's so innovative and creative. It's just so beautiful. It's not only the animation, but you know the way it tells the stories and the characters and just the overall theme is like fantastic. And I'm not even like that into Spider-Man.
You're listening to The Conversation by Options for All Film and Media.
I'm your host, Julian Sanchez. Our guest today is my brother, Eddie Sanchez. Originally from San Diego, Eddie Sanchez moved to Brooklyn in 2018 to start a job with the Brooklyn Nets and later with the NBA League office. In 2020, he started his own content-grounded podcast called The Bad Promoter to keep people updated about the world of the MMA and boxing leagues. Thank you for joining us today, Eddie.
Yeah, no problem.
So, the first question is kind of a fun question. So, say you were deserted on like a private island or something, and you went into the water to go fishing, and there was this like gigantic hippo, and you had to protect yourself. Would you rather fight the hippo or like 100 rat-sized or mouse-sized hippos in the water?
That's a good question. I would definitely choose the large hippo. I'm not a fan of bugs at all, so anything that's tiny like that, yeah, no, I don't want to deal with that. So I would definitely take my chances with the one big hippo. I'd probably try to sink as far as possible and just swim and see where it takes me.
Okay, you mentioned on one of your social media pages that you're fascinated by combat sports because of the politics. Can you explain to the audience what do you mean by politics of the sport?
Yeah, awesome. That's a great question. So basically, in boxing, it's not a traditional league similar to like MMA, NFL, or NBA, where there's one owner. The teams are owned by the league, and the employees are essentially the athletes that are performing for those teams. In boxing, they essentially are their own business. They are essentially just contractors that work for different promotional companies. So from the top down, there's not really anyone to force certain fights, certain matchups, or basically there's no one to tell them what they have to do. So oftentimes you run into different issues in terms of how much money is going to be in a fight, or say someone isn't as interested in taking a fight, even though maybe the fans are interested in seeing them take that fight. If someone's a champion and they are making, let's say, like $1 million fighting someone who's not that good, and $1 million versus fighting someone who's probably the second best, since there's no one essentially there to tell them what to do, then they're obviously going to choose the one that's the easier fight. So a lot of times, like boxing, you run into issues like that. So when I'm referencing like the politics of the sport, that's pretty much what I'm talking about.
Hello, Eddie. I'm Jordan. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we know that sports can be a very great thing, and a lot of people like it. But there are those who don't like it and say, it's too violent, and there's some controversy surrounding that. So what would you say to people who think the sports you talk about, MMA and boxing, are too violent?
Yeah, I mean that's a very fair point. It is on the violent side, but I would say that if for anyone who is concerned about the violence, there are other sports out there that you can find interest in as well. Like for me, example, although my primary focus is boxing and MMA, I'm also a huge basketball fan, baseball fan. Football is also violent, but I'm a huge football fan. Love tennis, so I would say that's pretty non-violent. So, there's definitely other interests out there that people can, take interest in and enjoy either to play or watch. And that's generally the direction I would.
And frankly, you can get hurt doing any sport, really.
You 100% can. You 100% can.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever consider being in the MMA or boxing in general? And if so, like who would you want to fight if you were in any of those?
That's a great question. I would say I would consider joining a gym to train in boxing and MMA more rather than just jumping in the ring or cage with someone. So that's definitely something that I would take interest in, just bringing up my physical fitness. But if I had to fight someone and I had to pick someone out there, it would probably be Ryan Garcia, just because he's really popular. So I know I'd make a lot of money if I fought him. And he kind of has a tendency to not take his job very seriously. So I think he would see that I've never been in a professional fight before, and he would think it's very easy and kind of take it easy on me.
Yeah. Okay. Like, hello, Ross again. I got one of the hardest questions that in boxing that like everyone asks: who'd win a fight, Tyson or Ali?
That's a really great question. I think the main determining factor would be which version of Mike Tyson it would be. I would say if you're getting a Mike Tyson when he was 20 to 22 years old, when he was at his absolute peak and mentally was the most focused, I think he would win that fight. But if you get Mike Tyson at any other point in time of his professional career, I think Muhammad Ali would beat him, just because he had it. He had a lot of problems with staying focused on his craft. So I think if you get him at the right age, then I think he would win.
Yeah, I was mainly like talking about like the Evander Holyfield era. So
okay, yeah, then he would for sure lose that fight.
I'm Ivette. My question for you is, who your broadcasted focus on MMA and boxing. Do you like other sports?
Love other sports. I would say basketball is my favorite overall because I play it in my free time. I watch it on TV. I used to work there for the league, so that was interesting. But yeah, I love tons of sports. It depends on like what time of the season it is. My interests will go up and down depending on that. So right now my interest in football is getting back up again just because it's the off season. The Chargers made a trade yesterday, so I'm feeling very happy about that. But yeah, I definitely love other sports.
Cool. Thank you.
I just thought of this as an interesting question for sports. It's also related to physical fitness since you're involved in physical fitness. A lot of people think in some ways that anything can be a sport. Like you have competitive eating where people just eat a lot. And some people might not consider that a sport. And also with the sport of bodybuilding, I heard someone say once that all people are doing in bodybuilding is just showing off their muscles, and that isn't really a sport. So would you agree, and what would you say if you don't agree?
You know, I would say back in the day, I would generally align with that thought process, but over time and just being exposed to different sports out there, I would say that when you're practicing different competition, I would consider that a sport. So something even like darts or bowling. It might not take physical strength or like speed in terms of like your athletic ability of running, but it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination and focus. And there's a general competition out there. So I think as long as you're competing, I would consider it a sport.
And I think with bodybuilding, you know, I hear people talk about how you have to be focused and you have to train and you know, eat different things and get your body into shape. So it is sort of the same thing. You don't just 100%. Go out there and look at me. So, you know, there is some discipline involved, which is sports like. So
100%. And I think you hit the nail on the head, the discipline. That's a trait that goes in any sport. So I think that's very, very well thought out.
Okay, I got a question for you, you know, about football. I need your opinion on this. Okay, like I've heard like some sports fans say that like this one player is better than another because the player has a ring. Do you agree? Because like Trent Dilfer, or let's say that like Kirk Cousins gets a ring, some people will say that they're better than Philip Rivers because Rivers does not have a ring. Do you think that statements like that are true, or do you just got to look at their numbers too? Because Trent Dilfer's numbers are horrible. You know?
Yeah, I would say I don't agree with that. In fact, the fact that you mentioned Philip Rivers, that's my favorite player ever. I will live on Rivers Island until I'm an old person. You know, I feel like he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, like during his entire career. And I think back in 2008 when he played on a torn ACL in the AFC Championship game, I think if he was healthy, we would have won that game against the undefeated New England Patriots. So, you know, there's a lot of context out there like that people need to have clarified when having these arguments. And, you know, sometimes you run into, you know, tough instances for your team. And at the end of the day, it is a team sport. So I don't think it's fair to necessarily look at a certain player as greater than or less than for a team accomplishment. For example, I think Peyton Manning was a better quarterback than Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady has won 7 championships. I just from what I saw on the television and just everything I saw with their careers, I felt Tom Brady was obviously very good, but I felt that Peyton Manning was better.
Yeah, because if you look at it, Trent Dilfer has 113 touchdowns to 129 interceptions, and somehow that's better than Rupert because he has a ring.
Yeah. I will say he's a really good commentator, though, and he has a great podcast, so we love him for that.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Tori, and what inspired you to start the broadcasting?
Yeah, so actually, I would say the end of 2019, my best friend and former college roommate reached out to me, and he had this idea of creating a content site with eventually a podcast tied to it for boxing and mixed martial arts. The reason he reached out to me is because I'm a huge boxing fan, and he was a huge MMA fan. I actually, prior to that, didn't really care for mixed martial arts at all. And I thought it was a really cool idea because the two sports have fan bases that have a strong distaste for each other. And I think it stems from the fact that they're similar in a lot of ways. So oftentimes you run into one fan base saying, "Oh, I'm better at you because of this," or "You're not as good as me because of that." And we wanted to create a space where, both fans could meet and enjoy each other essentially. And shortly after we started that, he actually, didn't really keep his end of the bargain up. So I eventually took on the full load. But at the end of the day, it was really cool. It led to a lot of really great opportunities and got me really interested in mixed martial arts as well.
So you started your podcast in 2020, but what motivated you to keep it going?
One, it's a general interest of mine. So it wasn't something like work where I have a certain task I have to do. And, at the end of the day, once I finish it, I'm kind of just left, tired, sitting back and didn't really enjoy what I was working on. It's something I genuinely like. So I think that was definitely a motivating factor. And even as my transitioning to this new job where I have a lot more responsibility and a lot less free time, just being intentional to carve out time to really put some focus out there, even if it's something as simple as uploading the social media accounts. So it helps keep me focused in that for sure.
Hey, what's up, Eddie? Eddie Sanchez. I'm Aaron. So I have a question to ask you. Do you have a favorite episode of your podcast?
Yeah, I think my favorite episode was after Canelo Alvarez defeated Billy Joe Saunders. I don't remember what number episode that was, but I just remember being really excited about it because I was really looking forward to that fight. I thought it was going to be really tough, and it was a little tough in the beginning, but Canelo Alvarez, he's my favorite boxer. He eventually dominated towards the end, so I would say that was my favorite episode that I recorded.
This is it's a good thing, and have you ever got brain damage to box?
I would say that when I'm at home, I'll do shadow boxing, so essentially punching air. But so I haven't been comfortable enough to step in a gym with anyone yet. But I think that's a goal. But you got to train first. So I think that's the next step.
Hi, my name is Kylie Gasson, but they like to call me Smiley. My question is, do you ever feel pressured to stay on schedule with everything that's going on?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely feel pressured to stay on schedule. Especially just because this project of mine is more so done on my free time rather than my actual job. So oftentimes I'll get responsibilities from my job that kind of impede with that. But yeah, so I definitely feel pressure on that end. But I think, like I was saying earlier, like because it's something I'm just genuinely interested in, like it kind of relieves that a little.
Do you ever get stressed out?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's fair to say that everyone gets stressed, in some capacity. In those times when I'm very busy, for sure, definitely get a little stressed. I would say in those moments, I think it's nice to take a step back and
What do you do whenever
breathe a
you get
little.
stressed out with all that stuff going on? What do you do?
Yeah, I like to go on runs. I like to play basketball, maybe listen to music, or just slow down and just take a moment to take a breath.
Going off of what Kylie asked, do you ever worry that you'll get burnt out, or that your audience will just get tired of listening to you? And how do you deal with that fear?
I would say I didn't have a fear of that before. Burnout more so with my actual full-time job, just because there's a lot of responsibility. In terms of people getting tired of hearing my voice, I don't know. I never thought about it, but it definitely will be in my mind now.
Well, I didn't mean to make you more nervous, but you sound like you have a lot
it's
of
okay.
confidence. Thank you.
I noticed that you changed formats on your podcast titles and changing the number of the episodes between seasons. Can you explain why you changed the format?
Yeah, I think it was just easier for me to follow along, because sometimes I wouldn't have much time post recording and then letting it like download and live on Buzzsprout, and then going back to my computer and just easily accessing like the file and then uploading it there. So it was just an easy way for if I need to step away and come back, I can just get to it.
Have you ever met any NBA, like famous NBA players?
Yeah, at work I met a few. I think the coolest one I met was Dr. J. I mean, he's retired, but he walked through the office. That was really cool. And Dikembe Mutombo, he was really cool because he's really tall. So,
what is your favorite animal? Any ideas?
I would say my spirit animal is a gorilla, just because they were my favorite ones at the zoo. So I'm gonna go with that.
Thank you, Eddie, for being here. To learn more about my brother Eddie and his podcast, go to thebadpromoter.com. You've been listening to The Conversation.
Thank you for listening to What's New Today at OFA. To learn more about the film and media program at Options for All, please visit optionsforall.org. And remember, you have options too.